Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday night Market Truth. We're going to do an energy recap here, just in light of what was happening over in the Middle East and the explosive price action with crude oil on Friday. So, once again, everything is going to pretty much stay the same. I'm just going to go over crude oil, natural gas, as well as the ETFs, USO and UNG. I just want to show you how this system is so applicable really on any commodities. Crude oil had a really strong rally. This upper right-hand panel, this is our quarterly levels, and the quarterly levels work just as good on crude oil and natural gas as they do on commodities and stocks and so forth. So we had a decent pullback. We basically traded up to 93. This is the front month contract, so I'm using the February contract right now. We had a sell-off. The crude oil basically had a pretty decent sized pullback, especially relative to other risk assets like the S&P and various currencies. Crude oil pulled back about $8 a barrel, and where did it pull back to? As I've mentioned many times with the S&P commentary and stock commentary, that when we get really hard sell-offs, that quarterly level is a great level if you are a longer-term macro trader to pick things up, especially if you're bullish on energy. The quarterly low volatility level is 85.36, and you'll notice that we traded down to 85.51 was the actual low. That's about as close as you're going to get, especially on a volatile product like crude oil. And we've already bounced off of that level $5 a barrel, which is phenomenal. I mean, to get that in just basically 1.5 trading sessions. So to give you some reference here, the upside, the quarterly high volatility level is $95 a barrel. That would be the target that we would have for an initial touch sometime in the next probably couple 2 to 4 weeks. And then it's not to say that we won't go through that level, but that would be a target that we'd want to shoot for in the upside. You'll notice on the monthly, nothing really tradable here. We traded through the monthly high volatility level last month and in December. And in November, we traded above it and we pulled back and traded down to the low volatility level. So nothing really to key off of on the monthly levels. So that quarterly level is really one that's been very effective. Let's take a look at natural gas. And you'll notice a couple of really good trades there as well. Again, we're focusing on the upper right-hand panel here. You'll notice that quarterly level pretty much picked the low of that move in natural gas. Again, I'm using the February contract. When we traded down to 325, that quarterly low level was around 337. So again, it's not going to be to the penny, but the idea is that we needed to trade below there 3 full days, and we didn't really do that. We traded below there, and the third day we closed at it, and then it was pretty much off to the races. You'll also notice that the quarterly for the beginning of the year here, we tested it pretty closely on the bottom. 418 was that level. I think our low ended up being 428, as you can see on the lower level. The monthly level really provided a good trade for you in January. You'll notice it on 2 occasions. One, we traded down almost to the tick. The 432 level, that was a great buy area. We failed to penetrate that level, and sure enough, where do we go? To the other end of the range, 485 on the upside. So once again, those levels very, very effective. Let's look at the USO, which is the oil ETF, and you'll notice the same thing on the quarterly level. We bounced off of that almost to the tick, 36.34. The low is 35.93. So again, and our upside target on the USO would be 40.72. And if we pull up UNG, which is the natural gas ETF, you're going to see the same trade over here on the monthly that worked out really well. You'll notice that we bounced off of the low end around 595, trade to the top end around 650, and now we're back down to the monthly and actually closed below it. So natural gas has definitely been weak. Our target on the downside, the quarterly level on UNG would be 551 on the downside, 694 on the upside. Thanks, guys, and good luck trading this week.